You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Warning: adult topics and content. You must be legal age of majority in your location to view. We are an educational, informative talk show, and our hosts may express their opinions passionately using explicit language. No offense is intended. Take a break and tune in for some great cannabis and psychedelic chit-chat. Learn what's going on in the cannabis industry, find out what's new on the review, and enjoy a laugh or two. Join us for today's Token Talk here on the Pace Radio Network with Rev Cindy and Green Irene.
We did it. Oh, I forgot to take that off.
I'm sitting here. I am so fucking giddy. I had to swear because you told them we were going to.
Yeah.
That is like fucking awesome. Okay, I have been doing these little shows for just over 2 years now, what I call my fun little giveaway shows for just over 2 years. And I thought that the opening that Al made for my last one was all that, and nothing compared to this. Like, this is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know what? I love doing these sorts of things. I love putting all that creative stuff together. And I love the tea and tokes that you were doing for the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
The giveaways and it's so much fun. I enjoy it. And this is, so before we get started, everybody kept saying, hey, have you ever worked with a co-host before? And, other than reefer reporters, I really haven't, but I'm looking so like I'm so glad that we've teamed up because
Absolutely.
I love talking with you. We've always got so much to say.
The hard part is honestly going to be, you're going to hear a lot of, oh gosh, I'm sorry, because we're going to step on each other probably a bit. So just so you know, we'll be apologizing a lot, true Canadians.
Right. Do you know what? I saw a comic strip a while back that had like one of the RCMPs in it, and he's standing there all stern, and he says, "Okay, hold on, let me get this right." He's standing there all stern, and he says, "One of these days, us Canadians will take over the world, and you'll all be sorry."
That's right, because that's what we do best.
Is apologize. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing the tea and toke for a few months back there on my own page, and what was it, a week ago today, something like that, Irene says, hey, we should do this together, and I'm like, oh, a joint host, that would be like freaking phenomenal. So she has done all of this in a week. I had no part of it. The opening I saw for the first time with all of you. She's done all of this. This is not, Cindy's not this organized.
Oh, Cindy, you're beautiful. And thank you. I am available for hire. I'm freelancing for anybody out there. You'll find me on Facebook. I'm enjoying my Shatterizer today.
Nice.
I got a couple of things rolled up, but probably much like yourself, because you had the karma bag too, didn't you? Yeah. So I still have whole bunches of little leftover stashes that I went, oh, I will get to that later. That'll be my, that'll be a treat when there you go. And I stash mine in little places because I'm one of those, I didn't grow up. I like to be, unpacking my winter clothes and find that $5 bill or find that little stash unit or whatever, right? I am. So I just found this yesterday and got all excited.
What one is that?
Well, it was one that was in our kit. And I think everybody got a little something different, but it's from Head Stash. So it's extracts, and they've got the honeybee on there. So I thought they were honeybee, but they're not. They're actually, it's just, they're called exclusive extracts. So exclusive extracts by Head Stash.
I got something from Head Stash, but I got a live resin.
Okay, see,
in a different container than what this is, but that one got a chip in it, so I took it out. Some sort of strawberry gas, something or other.
Okay, and mine's a Danby's Blue, which is a high indica, and a low sativa, so maybe I shouldn't be enjoying it right now. All of a sudden, I'm gonna be napping on you. You know, it's funny how we have, as a society. I just want to show this because I'm so impressed with this as a shatter and a glass. When I found it, I went and I remembered stashing it. It was like, oh yeah, I remember looking at it and going, oh fuck, I gotta put that away. That's a personal treat. Now I've got it all broken up now, unfortunately, so that I can pop it into my shatterizer with ease. But I'm gonna pull a piece of this glass up and just kind of hold it there.
Ooh,
look at that, right?
That's clear.
Like, oh yeah, and sweet. Oh, yum 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 yum.
Nice.
So I've been really impressed with that, with their products. It's pretty amazing how comfortable we've gotten talking about cannabis compared to, you know, even so much as just a couple years ago.
Yeah. I had that conversation with somebody you know here probably about an hour ago. And we were having a chat about the fact that these podcasts are so important for the reason that they help destigmatize.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And we were talking about psychedelics, and you know, mostly psychedelics, and the fact that, you know, like the more we can destigmatize these psychedelics, the more people will be open to learning about them. The more we can destigmatize the drugs that are run rampant, the more people will be willing to speak of them and say, I need help. But we have to, we need these podcasts, even if they're these, what I like to call ours, like the fun, silly little giveaway one. We need them because we're still going to sit here and talk about cannabis. I'm still going to talk about psychedelics. I mean, I'm sure you will as well. So like, I mean, like it's very important to talk it out to get rid of this.
Oh, absolutely. I can remember going back a couple of years ago. I, you know, because this one person had only ever met me in a personal setting. And every time she came around, I was puffing on a joint, or, you know, you go ahead, have your beer. I'm going to have a joint, right? This was the sort of thing. Well, I guess she accidentally found me online. And she says, oh my God, I had no idea what weed really was. I thought you were just a pothead.
No, I am a pothead and so much more.
Right. And that's what I said. I said, you know what, years ago. And so we got into this big conversation about cannabis. She is now a consumer of cannabis for medicinal purposes because she's someone who was struggling with rheumatoid arthritis. And it was getting to the point where she couldn't paint anymore. Right. And because her hands would, like, she was getting that witch's claw condition. And so, you know, through a series of, you know, try this, try that. And we finally found a strain that really works for her. Dosey Dose really works well for her for sleeping. So she grows it. And it's an easy indoor turnover plant because it's one of those auto plants, right? Yeah. So I think it's like 9 weeks or something like that turnover. So she always has enough product. She makes her own little creams now. She was just showing off sweaters that she knit for her grandchildren. Like, you know, how fucking awesome is that? Because 2 years ago, she couldn't even hold a paintbrush. Now she's knitting sweaters, you know? I think that's so awesome. I love cannabis. And I really don't know much about psychedelics, but here's the cool thing. I'm very open-minded about it because 20 years ago, I was completely against cannabis. I was the person who wrote articles in large magazines against the legalization, that we don't need a society full of potheads. And then I became a patient. And
now look at you.
Yeah. And then, so when it comes to psychedelics, I'm very open-minded. In fact, I've mentioned to Ashley a few times that I'm ready to try the first. So I've tried Lotus Leaf because of Ashley. So to help with that transcendental dreaming, which I decided that I no longer want to do for dreaming because I have had way too much vivid imagery that the next day I spend the whole day going, what the fuck did that mean?
Yeah. Vivid dreaming is not all it's cracked up to be.
Right. I've got a very wild and creative imagination to begin with. I really probably don't need to add the influence of, lotus leaf. But for
Well, be
people,
careful with psilocybin dreaming as well.
that Ashley said as much, right? So again, I'm very fortunate in that Ashley and I are very close in that I can say, okay, you stay with me and we're going to do this treatment. And she does that for a lot of patients as well. It's and go to someone you know and trust, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, and that's something else that I was discussing. Actually, the person that I was discussing it with that Irene knows is Ashley, her daughter. And we were discussing that when it came to Cambo. We were chatting about the fact that I was introduced to one Cambo practitioner who lives on the other side of the country where I've traveled to go do iboga, but I wasn't going to, for some reason, I had it in my head that I wanted to do Cambo closer to home. And it was the wrong thing for me to do because I was meant to go do it with this person.
Oh,
My soul trusts this person. So even though I haven't known her like you've known Ashley, it's very important for setting and trust. You have to trust your practitioners. You absolutely have to.
yeah. I couldn't imagine doing it confidently or comfortably and being capable of. If fear is a part of the equation, how could you possibly get all the benefits of the medication, right? Because it's mental and emotional, and if fear is there in any capacity, it would act like a blocker, like a sergeant at the door, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily. If you have the ability to let go,
right.
you can learn to understand your fear and then sit with it and realize that it's not really complete fear at all. You know what I mean? It's the same as, I'm sure you've seen the meme of, sit with your hate long enough and you'll realize it was grief. So you have to sit with your fear. So do you really want to block that out, or do you want to have it there so you can ask it questions when you finally get that chance? So, but you have to be open and let go, right? Trust the medicine and trust the people who are being your practitioners to guide you through your journey.
Right. Now, one of the things, and I've heard you and many others, like I've heard Michelle say it. I've heard Ashley say it. I've heard a number of people online who have done this psychedelic journey. They all say the same thing. I was called to do blah, blah. I was called to do iboga, am I pronouncing that right? Iboga?
Iboga, yeah.
Okay. So I was called to do that, or I was called to do whatever the frog one is. Cambo?
Cambo or 5-MeO DMT are both frog medicines.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the other one I was going to say, and something to do with, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't DMT, isn't that the molecular component that we found that came out of monkeys' brains?
No.
Okay, so what was that everybody was doing about 10 years ago?
Monkey brain? I have no idea.
It's like, how we produce adrenaline? Monkeys produce.
Yeah, and it might be a form of 5-MeO because, I am still a student. I have learned about the plant medicine 5-MeO, which they call NN5-MeO or 5NN-DMT, my bad. Then there's the frog medicine, which they call 5-MeO DMT. There might be another kind of DMT that they call something else.
Okay.
So I'm sitting here saying no, but I could be lying. Right.
Okay. Isn't it? Fucking information is power, right? That's right. That's like, I love it. I do. I spend my life in a book all the time. Like, honestly, this is the extent of my social time. Hey!
I help at my friend's head shop for social time.
Yeah, you know what? A few years back when I first started working on the Info is Power series, I think for Cannabis Corner Cafe, so I'm going back a few years ago now. But when I first started doing that, I was so isolated for like about 7 months. Didn't see another human being. I actually calculated the days one day when my brother showed up and said, how long you been here for? And I kind of went, and I calculated 92 days without seeing another human being. No wonder the first night I stepped out, I swear constantly, I didn't shut up. It was like
Imagine.
and yeah, nonstop. Then ultimately, I realized that, you know what, that's probably not a healthy thing to do. That whole isolation thing. And that's why when everybody, so what was I going to say? I forgot I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
I had been in doing these Info is Power series. That was it. And that's what I was working on, was the Info is Power series. And to get them all live and all the video casts up and running and stuff. And it just amazed me every time I would get a comment that would say something like, wow, I never even thought of it that way, or hadn't even considered that. And so when you said at the start of our show how important these little chats are, yeah, they're fun and they're fluffy. They're not scholastic or academic like some of my shows are, like most of my shows are. But they are, there's information there. Grab a little tidbit. It doesn't have to be accurate, but as long as it stimulates or plants a seed of thought, go and research this shit for yourself. You know, I say all the time, it's your health, it's your wellness. It's not anybody else's responsibility.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, but I love meeting up with people who have similar passions and different experiences.
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
You really can.
Yeah,
you really can.
Very muchly so.
Sorry, I'm opening my tea because I'm not having a hot tea today. I'm finishing up my coffee, and then I have my iced tea.
There you go. I'll switch from the hot tea to Gatorade eventually.
Oh, see, I've tried Gatorade. My palate just won't accept it. And I remember one of my kids, I think it was the youngest one, gave me years ago one of those Red Bulls.
Oh.
Bad idea. Let's give somebody who's really hyper a Red Bull.
No, they don't even taste good.
No, they don't give those to mama anymore.
I got into Gatorade when actually the first time I went for Iboga. It strips your electrolytes. So you have to keep your electrolytes replenished. So I got a taste for Gatorade then. So when I'm getting ready to microdose now, and I'm microdosing tomorrow morning, I make sure I drink some Gatorade before I head into a microdose.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? That's good information because, like I say, I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna do a mushroom treatment very soon, and knowing that I can dehydrate, I'll make sure I'm prepared. Well, I'm sure my coach would anyway, but.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like water, and you don't have to drink Gatorade. You can get like electrolyte pills and drinks and smart waters. And
this is my survival. Yep. Hydrolytes, 1 or 2 tablets every couple of days. Cause I drink a lot of water, but apparently I don't hydrate well. So
your body doesn't hold on to it.
I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But it's actually kind of cool. You can wake up, so you don't have to invest in the poison of alcohol in order to feel drunk.
No, just dehydrate yourself a lot. Then you'll know. Okay, don't dehydrate yourself a lot either. Use these wonderful drinks or pills that you can get and keep yourself hydrated.
And, these hydrolytes are mostly natural substance. Yeah, I mean, they've got some additive in it to give it some shelf life. But really, it's natural substance. Most of our pharmaceuticals come from natural substances. A
lot of them do, but then they start adding chemicals to them.
Oh, well, they synthesize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, Nabilone or Sesamit. Like, I mean, the synthetic version of THC. I mean, really?
We grow it naturally. It's good for the earth. It's good for the soil. It's good for our bodies. But yeah, let's make that part illegal, and we'll create it in a lab for you instead.
Yeah, because it's going to be healthier for you. That stuff is worse than opiates to get off of.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. And you know what? These pharmaceutical reps, they remind me of, I don't know, not snake oil salesmen, but.
No, we're the snake oil salesmen. We're the ones up there with the natural products going, this is going to fix everything. But it does. You know, we may not be like the greasy snake oil salesman, but we still are. Like we're the ones with the natural medicines that are standing there. And like that's how I picture myself. I picture myself up on one of these wagons going, come see me, I can fix all your ailment. I got mushrooms, I got iboga, I got ayahuasca, I got DMT. You know, like that's how I see myself. So yeah, I kind of, I'm the good snake oil salesman. I kind of see that about any, I would say that about any natural medicine advocate or activist, right? We're the ones that are over here saying, we got the elixirs. And just a second, I really do have the elixir right here, right?
Yeah, me too.
It's, so I mean, like that's kind of how I see myself. But, it's, the government has made us evil, honestly. Yes. And, yes. People don't trust it. They sit there, well, I'd rather wait for like 50 million studies to be done.
And here's the really cool thing is there has been a lot of studies done on things like cannabis that those studies just simply weren't released openly to the public before.
Or they were completely buried, utterly buried because, we're going to prove that cannabis gives you, or just a second back then, we're going to accuse that marijuana gives you lung cancer, and we're going to go prove that. And then, of course, they prove that it cures your lung cancer, so now they bury the study.
Right, exactly. Or like when Ralph McCullum. My nose is always in a book. So there are a number of words that I enunciate or pronounce wrong. So the Israeli researcher, do you know who his first name's Ralph? Do you know who I'm talking about? Dr. Ralph? No? Okay. Because I didn't want to say his name until you said it because I'm really not sure how to pronounce it. I've heard it twice, 2 different ways now, and I've always called him Dr. Ralph McCullum. But now I've heard him called Dr. Ralph McCullum and Dr. Ralph McCallum or something. And it's like, I don't know. I just know he's the Israeli researcher. I was also one of those people who pronounced chameleon, like chameleon, for years.
Oh, you did the the CH sound.
Yeah,
instead of making it a K. Yeah,
because that's how I read it, right?
Yeah.
So how we read it. Yeah. So it's funny when we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Out there preaching, listen to you. You're out there on the wagon preaching away. Do you know what I heard the other day? Have you ever heard? Okay, you know about sound therapy,
yes.
Right? Okay, so we're talking about psychedelics and we're talking about cannabis. I do that meditation show on Wednesdays where I do the strain a day and we talk about a specific strain and really highlight it, talk about its lineage, maybe its history, maybe its profile, whatever. How it can be used, that sort of thing. And then the second half of the show is a meditation. It's a creative visualization, which is kind of a hypnotic meditation. So it's not a full hypnosis, but just by nature of my training, I automatically, and I've heard it myself, have that go into that voice that I use when I'm doing hypnotherapy with the client. So I do that during the meditation as well, which is why I call it creative visualizations. But I usually have different music playing in the background when I'm preparing these different scripts and stuff. And it kind of helps to motivate me and get me in the space. I came across the other day the God frequency.
You were telling me, yeah.
Yeah. So have you heard about binaural beats, like using them for study and stuff like that?
No.
Okay. Basically, to super simplify the complexity of this, because it really is a complex thing, I'm not sure I completely have it understood myself. For all intent purposes, our brains, certain neurons get fired from certain sounds. So, for example, like a coma patient or a stroke victim, we end up with little blocks in our brain. So the neurons find a new way to wire around that. So maybe you're not using your left hand anymore, but your right hand becomes exceptionally functional. If you're blinded in one eye, your other senses pick up. You know what I mean? The neurons wire around the blip, if you will. Sound waves and certain sounds light up different junction points of where these neurons gather and light them up and fire them out in different directions, healing those black spots in the brain. So, and they do this with certain beats. There's certain tones. So I started working with it just more out of curiosity and than anything a while back. I find for study purposes, I get very overstimulated easily. So I don't like noise or activity going on around me. But I can put on these binaural beats for focus and study. And it really helps me zone in that combined with a joint. And I zone right into what I'm doing, right? And it's really cool because I can lose 2 hours and accomplish 4 hours of work.
Yep.
It's just awesome. So there's brain healing techniques. There's like, for someone that was on pharmaceuticals as long as I was and ended up with the brain damage, that sort of thing, from strokes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I stumbled across this God frequency and I thought I would pull it up, but for some reason, I'm not finding it now. I thought I'd share it, but it's just this, look it up on YouTube. It's God frequency. And you hear this woo, 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 steady, right? So I thought, okay, let's try a meditation doing this. And I got into kosher kush with diamonds and terp, like a triple infusion, right? So it was like 39% THC. Smoked half the joint all to myself, put myself in that really, with the deep breathing and that meditative state, put on the God frequency. Holy mother of bejesus. Like, wow. What? Yeah. Transcendental meditation experience. I mean, I don't do the whole hallucinating thing on cannabis, like I don't know, like you see in the movies or stuff. I don't hallucinate with cannabis by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I never have.
But I often hallucinate during meditation. And Ashley keeps saying, Mom, that's that depth of meditation is what a treatment is like, except it's brought on for you, blah blah blah. And she's if you can do that, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know. I don't think I want to get trapped in a movie. Oh, good Lord.
So I found your God frequency and I've brought it in.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's on the bottom. I think I found it. I'm not sure if it's what you're thinking of, but I while you were chatting, I went and looked and I found a bunch that said frequency of God, but then this one says God frequency. So
okay. Well, do you want to share it? We'll only share a few minutes because it's probably like hours long.
Well, this one's an hour, yeah.
Oh, sorry. You hit we both did it at the same time.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play.
And honestly, that's it.
Well, it's making me smile.
Right? And honestly, try this when you do like a microdose or you're doing a meditation. It's wild. It's wild.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow when I microdose with iboga.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I bet you'd really like it. It's just background white noise, but wow, does it ever penetrate? And you can feel it. I just thought it was really cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And
of course, now it's still playing in my ear because I didn't hit pause. I just removed it from the screen.
There you go. But yeah, and I thought that was so cool. Wow. And we were, the God frequency. Yep.
I'm gonna I'm just going to minimize that. I'm going to keep that one there.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's a few different, like you get those binaural beats and you start experimenting with them. It's really like there's one that is an energy booster. I put it on. I'm not kidding you. I love to meditate. About 10 seconds into the meditation, after I went through the deep breathing and relaxation exercise and got into that state, that place I wanted to be. As soon as I got there, this music, it was like somebody had shitload of knives and just clawing at me. It was like, whoa, get out of here. Bad binaural beats for me. And yeah, so which is to have a sound create that kind of an effect. Yep. It's like, wow, there is something here, right? There is definitely something here. On that note, I'm going to spark up. We were going to share, I had that video that I wanted to share with you too about this plant having such roots in spiritualism. But not surprisingly, we've done a lot of chatting. I think we're at break time.
My goodness, we have. We've been chatting for half an hour.
Why don't we cut to break? When we get back, we'll announce, we'll talk about those prizes.
Yeah, we'll talk about the giveaway. I've brought it in here to show off. So it's right beside me, and we can tell people how they need to enter.
Okay, yeah. And then, yeah, we'll put that up. We'll talk about how they enter. Do we have the names from all your names from last week entered on our wheel?
No, because we didn't get it up. So we're actually just announcing the giveaway this week.
Oh, okay.
Because last week I gave that away in the show, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this week we're starting off with a different, but we'll tell you about that after the break. There is a giveaway. It's just done differently this time.
Yeah, and you guys have a whole week to get your names in, but we'll talk all about that when we get back from break. I just re-sparked my joint. I'm gonna hit our sponsors, and when we get back, we'll talk about the giveaways, the great giveaways, and maybe some other stuff, some more stoner spitballing. All right, 2 and 2, guys.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Yeah, cannabis education. I love that. It's one of the reasons I love the PACE network. I just do. I
love, Al's amazing and I love working here. And every time I have asked to bring psychedelics into the conversation, he's always said yes.
Right.
Always.
Because it's such a healing component. It's just one of those things, much like cannabis. It really got a bad rap from the government because they didn't have control over it, but it helps us in so many different ways. I mean, the few little bit of research I've done, and everyone I talk to, yourself, like I have followed your journey and your story probably for a couple of years now. Like honestly, I probably watched you a little bit before I added you as a friend. Because you know how some people are out there and they're all, yeah. And then next week they're all something else. And then, you know what I mean? So I probably watched you for a week or two before and then added you as a friend. Because I was watching your journey and your progress and your evolution. And do you ever get those surreal moments where you look back and go, fuck, it feels like that life was a movie?
All the time. Because,
right?
they every day you have those Facebook memories pop up. So I go back and I take a look, and this was just the other day, and I looked back, and it was I think it was 5 years ago on that day, and it was a terrible day. And I look at that day, and I look at what I posted, and I remembered what I thought and how I felt, and it didn't even feel like I was looking at the same person.
Right.
It was just kind of like. It was really weird because and that's why I try so hard not to be judgmental of others' bad moods or bad attitudes, because I look back and go, holy fuck. I know what made me that way.
Right.
So if somebody else is that way, it's just kind of like, oh geez, like, are you okay? What happened? Because no, not one person in this world is born and goes, I want to grow up to be an asshole. Nobody. Everybody is born, and we are born loving and pure and kind and sweet, and we are taught the rest.
I'm sorry. When you said that, I had a picture of Dewey on Family Guy jumping out going, I did. Mom.
Okay, so that cartoon character was born to be an asshole, but all of us humans, we weren't. When I think back in my childhood, everybody wants to grow up to be, a firefighter or a doctor or a nurse or a hairdresser or a movie star or a rock star. Not one of them wanted to grow up to be in a bad mood all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Not one of them wanted to grow up to be an addict. Not one of them wanted to grow up to be depressed. Nobody. That was taught to us.
Yeah.
That was done to us. So we are responsible for our own healing, but that does not mean that the position that we are in is our fault.
Do you know the way? Yeah, you're so, it's so true. The way NLP works, NLP is a factor. It affects every part of our life. It's neuro-linguistic programming. It's how we talk to ourselves, how we program our brains. But those programs were established by the time we were 9 years old. So, and we don't have a lot of experience by that age, which means most of the programming isn't really logical necessarily. For example, myself, I was way too old to admit, but I was in my 40s. I snapped at somebody because they went to take a knife to the strawberry. That is the heart of Mother Earth in Native, like, amen. That's the heart. That's shaped like the heart. And you never take a knife to the heart. But the point was, when I learned that lesson, I was 3 years old. My nanny was afraid of me using a knife, so she gave me a spoon. And you said you can only clean Mother Earth's heart with a spoon. You gently take off her connection. In my itty bitty brain, that was law. I was in my 40s yelling at a grown-ass man, do not use a knife on a strawberry, when I caught myself and went, why the fuck not? Ooh, there's that language. But that's a nice, gentle programming, something that can be. But imagine how some things are interpreted in our childhood that create these patterns, that as we grow up, our experiences, because we're expecting this, our experiences compound that each and every time until we have this, why am I always getting in my own way?
Yep.
Why am I depressed all the time? Why did these things happen to me? The big question why, which fractionates everybody's world.
Yep.
And then a lot of people, thankfully, good-hearted souls and people who are open to the messages of the universe, such as yourself and many others as well. They know, you know what, this needs to be healed and modified or evolved and watched you through your treatments and your growths and your ups and your downs. And I can honestly say that picture you shared recently, yeah, that's not even you. If anything, I'd say it's, your sister or half sister or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your eyes don't even read the same.
The one that I shared, and I said this was 4 years ago, but I think I look older back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a much more radiant, much more radiance now, since you've been working in a very kind, happy, compassionate way. And it's cool to see, because you're not the only one. There's so many out there that I've been following. I just don't want to bring up their names. I don't know how good they are about being made public, right? But I mean, there's a lot of people that are sharing their stories. And for someone like me who has never done drugs, like I said, I used to be against cannabis. I was very against any psychedelics, but now, because I'm open to cannabis, it's like opened me up and going, you know what, that learning and those teachings, they weren't truths. And I'm old enough now with a smart enough brain to learn my own truths. So I don't give a shit about any political agendas. I don't care about the emotional volatility of a subject. I really don't give a rat's ass about the economic value or disvalue. Bottom line is, I want to know how I feel about it instinctively based on my research.
Yep. Yeah. Which is what we should all be doing. And we've been preached at. I can remember being in my 20s and 30s and having doctors and nurses tell me, well, you have to decide this and you have to decide that because your health is your choice.
Yeah.
But here we are. I'm now in my very early 50s, so 20-ish years later, and the way they talk to us now is completely different. Yeah. Do what I say. My friend hurt his back and he wanted to know what was wrong with his back, so he went to the doctor. Mm-hmm. So the physiotherapist had taped it up so the doctor couldn't actually see the movement of the spine. So instead of asking him to untape it or asking him any questions, oh, I see you've got it taped up. Here, have this painkiller.
Yeah. It's and here's part of the challenge, I think, because I have a few friends who are doctors, right? One is an ER doctor, and so he's got a very jaded perspective. And another friend, she works in the out of the hospital and out of her own practice. But anyways, they paid well over $100,000 for an education that half their patients, half their clients now come in and tell them you're wrong. Then don't come to me. I get it, but you don't go to a roofer to get your car fixed. And it was like me the other day at the hospital with my back a couple weeks ago. I went to the hospital. I know that I'm not going to take any pharmaceuticals, but I need an x-ray to ensure that that I'm not going to cause myself any damage.
Yep.
So it meant hanging around the hospital for approximately 12 hours, to which a nurse finally came to me and said, well, what do you expect us to do if you're not going to take pharmaceuticals? Like if you're not going to take a painkiller? And I said, I just want an x-ray. And in that moment, she realized and it caught herself. And it was so cool to see that transition. And she said, do you know what you should do, hon? Go to a clinic. They can order an x-ray and you have an appointment. You don't have to hang out here for 12 hours.
That makes sense.
Like,
yeah.
Right. It was like, wow, thank you. But then that was a whole other fucking thing, because at the clinic, I had to, the doctor wasn't on scene, would call me between such and such an hour to have a teleconference, like a telephone interview. And then said, well, what do you expect me to do if I can't see you? I'm not sending you for expensive tests. If you're not going to take drugs, good luck to you. She actually said, good luck with that.
I get accused of being a drug addict when I went into the hospital about my shoulders here a month and a half ago.
Oh my God.
Yep. They wanted to do a bunch of tests, and I have a needle phobia. So I tried to tell them about my needle phobia, and you have to take blood in this way. And what they heard was I was refusing the blood tests.
Oh my God.
So because I'm covered in tattoos and smelled like cannabis.
Yep.
They said, like they assumed I didn't want the blood, because they heard that I'm not getting it done. So then they said, you don't want to get it done because you don't want us to see that you're a drug addict. And we can't help you. Jeez. I left there in tears, right?
Yeah. And you wonder why some people snap. Like, honestly, okay, I'm in my early 50s, hit that menopausal stage. There are moments. This full moon has been an interesting one. This lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks leading up to now, it's been a very interesting shift in moods and attitudes. And to say we're not connected would be nuts.
Yeah.
Right?
I would normally be seriously affected. I did have some effect from it, but of course, just coming out of the psychedelic retreat, I had a little bit more control. But I was up at whatever time this morning and out taking pictures of the moon eclipsing, and it was so cool that, like that moment where the sun and the earth and the moon were in perfect alignment. It was a very powerful moment to be outside witnessing it. Like, I mean, I felt it down to my core, right? It was phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, so I saw that a lot of other people went out, but I don't know. I see that a lot of other people think it was a cool thing, but it was super powerful to have that moment where the universe has aligned what controls your emotions and what controls giving you life. My father's outside my door waving to me, so I'm waving back.
Hi, Cindy's dad.
It was just really cool, right? Because these two forces, like, I mean, the sun helps us grow and live, and the moon, like, I mean, it controls our tides, it controls our emotions, and like everything was, for a couple of moments perfectly aligned. It was wild.
Yeah, I didn't get up for it. I was going to do that because Ashley works so much with moon cycles, and she does her moon ceremonies and such. Unfortunately, she's been working an awful lot lately, and so she's been very busy. But I did ask her. I said I was only doing it for her sake, which sucks, because I should have done it for my own. Because I just listening to you, my whole gut's doing the I wish I would have done that, right? Because I know what it's that awe, it's that unexplainable words, it's that ineffable.
I broke into tears that moment that the moon was completely gone. That second that we were perfectly aligned. I mean, I was sitting out in my car to stay a bit warm, window down so I could take decent pictures, just to bawl it. It's so beautiful. Click. That was me at 5:30 this morning.
Well, I'm glad you did, because they're beautiful pictures. And when I saw them and it was like, I mean, isn't everything seemingly, I mean, do you feel the shift that has happened? Because I know I do.
Oh yeah. Like after the eclipse, I mean, everything is lighter, everything is happier, everything is brighter, everything is better. My feet are more secure on the ground. It's just, and people don't get it. Like, I mean, like my dad, I mean, he doesn't believe in this stuff. But I mean, even he woke up and he was in a funny, jovial mood like this morning, and he's like, "Oh, I feel great," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's because the lunar eclipse passed." No, okay.
But you know
But
what?
I mean,
His grandmother told him that he'd listen much clearer,
oh, absolutely,
right?
absolutely, and
And
he's learning to listen because he follows everything that I do. Like he has watched, he saw the difference cannabis made. And then when I first got into microdosing with mushrooms, I didn't tell my dad I was eating magic mushrooms, but he thought cannabis was just working better. And so finally one day I said, "No, I eat mushrooms." And, you know, he was interested and he asked questions. And then when I said, you know, I need help going to do this, and I said, I want to go do iboga, he didn't even question it because he had watched me for a couple of years on what this other medicine had done for me.
right.
And so my father is a huge supporter of natural medicine now.
How beautiful is that, eh?
Yeah.
When that transition takes place. Papa, you guys met him like you would have met him a few years ago when I had him on the 710 or whatever.
Yep.
A couple years back. So he's 98 on Thursday. Okay. Absolutely doing amazing. And he was, you know, very blue collar, grew up very Catholic, very stern, very, you know, follow the rules and so on and so forth my whole life. A couple of years back, somebody was saying something about cannabis. He goes off about his opinion of it. And my papa, who loves me, read my body language and said, "What, you've got a problem with what I'm saying?" And I said, "Well, Papa, based on my education, yeah, I do. You know, what you're saying goes against what I read doctors' research on." I knew how to present it to him respectfully. And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" And so I said a couple of things. And he stopped me and he said, "Well, I obviously need to do some research before we further this conversation." He read 3 or 4 books, which was amazing to me. I was just so not just honored, but it's like I admire and model after this man because he is intelligent that way. It's like, you know what? I've just got an opinion, and there's more opinions than there are assholes in the world, right? But if I'm educated, then I can present a statement and let it go. Do you know? And Papa taught me that. So anyways, he read up on the cannabis. He uses cannabis. He's in the nursing. He's not in the nursing home, but he's in his place of residence now. And he's been dealing with skin cancer now. But his body is breaking down on him. Okay. The fact that he still reads every night before going to sleep. Okay. He amazes me, but he preaches cannabis and the value of cannabis now. And he called me the other day. "How did you say you can add cannabis to your food without having to get all flaky on it?" And I said, "Just eat it raw, Papa. Instead of lettuce, have cannabis." "Oh, right. And so then that's what he said. "No, I just want some raw cannabis on that."
That's adorable.
And I love this. I love this movement, this opening up of information. And let's face it, there's still a lot of misinformation that circulates. There's a lot of missing information that we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of information available. And tuning into shows like today's show, which is kind of chill and relaxed and nothing really structured about it for the most part. In fact, I don't think we followed what we might have thought of to be a structure, did we?
We were supposed to come back from the commercial and tell them how they were like going to do the whole entry thing, and we've got off on another subject. But yeah, not structured at all, but lots of information. And information you're going to pay attention to, because somebody isn't like you going this and this and this and this.
Right. And it's one of my philosophies in life was always, anybody I work with, it's to teach them how to think, not what to think. Because I don't know what to think. If I did, I wouldn't still be on this planet. Let's face it. I'd be the fuck out of here. Yeah. I'd be gone. No, if
you want to start explaining how the giveaway is going to work, I got to go let the dog out. She's out there crying.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Let me. Okay. So till Cindy gets back, basically how this goes, let me put this up for you guys. There we go. Okay. So what you want to do, here's how you're going to win. When Cindy gets back, we're going to give you the catchphrase or the trivia question so that you can validate your entry. And what you're going to do is you're just going to simply email whatever that catchphrase or whatever the answer is, along with your name, to tandtoke@hotmail.com. And you want to do that before 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Monday. So on the 14th of November, you want to have your entry in by 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because on the 15th of November, Cindy and I will be putting your name into this wheel. Let me just show you. I have it here. I'm going to share it. Share screen. Window. Edge tab. There we go. Okay. I want to share that. So we'll put your name in here and we'll spin the wheel. It basically looks like this. And watch. This is how it goes. Okay. The winner is Adam, and Adam gets a cheer. That's basically how it works. Okay, so you send the address is on your screen. That's TEAANDTOKE@hotmail.com, and you got to do that before 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday evening. And on that note, Cindy's back, but we're going to tell you about our Token Talk giveaway this week. I can't wait. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And we're back.
We're back.
Okay. So this is really exciting. We didn't follow our list more or less at all this week, Cindy, but that's cool. I you know what? It should be this chill, right?
I think that works for us though.
I do. Maybe to have something in the background to fall back on just in case. But I don't ever see us running out of topics to talk about. But next week, I really want to share some of the footage from the dispensaries I've been going into. And I know you've hit a whole bunch. When you were here in Ontario, you did an amazing little tour. And maybe
I can send you that.
Okay. Oh, I just want to stop sharing that now. There we go. Okay. So if we start sharing that sort of thing, and one of the reasons, we're talking a little bit about psychedelics and a little bit about cannabis, but there's so many different strains of cannabis out there now. I don't know about you, but I like to keep track of what I consume. And so far in the last 11 months, I have consumed a little over 1,300, or tasted, I should say, a little over 1,300 different strains.
That's really cool.
Is that? Now, that's not to say I sat there and smoked a whole joint or a whole bud or anything like that. I mean, I may have had a puff or two and put it away. Keeping in mind, I've been in the competitions as a judge for the Indigenous Cannabis Cup, much like yourself, and Karma Cup. That's 200 products we're testing, right? So how do you find what you like and what you don't? And maybe you don't even care for the most part, but you just want to say, hey, you know what? I've tried a lot of weed, and instead of talking about it, I'm going to catalog it. And this is our giveaway this week.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to get mine.
Yes, yours should be in anytime. I got notice that they've been sent. So this is the very first volume, finally formatted, the Cannabis Consumption Companion, your bud buddy. Every spring, a new volume will come out, so you can keep, I believe this one holds, and this is kind of how it's laid out. I don't want to break the spine on it, but this, on one side is your log, right? You're going to keep track of what you had and what you thought of it. There's down at the bottom of every log a strain highlight of the day, just one that I've tried and what I thought of it. And on this side of each page, you can find just about anything from a wine recipe. I think that's the wine recipe. No, that's some information. Oh, there we go. Look at chocolate chip bites, Cannabis infused, that's on one of the pages. So every other page has a little something different on it to kind of make it an interesting coffee table book. Now, they are available on Amazon through, just look up the Info is Power series on Amazon.ca or Green Irene, or, you know, however you find me. Trust me, use any of those keywords, you'll find me. And the bookshelf.
And we're gonna talk about, once I get my copy and I'm able to peruse it before we come back next week, we're actually going to show a little bit more, because I'll have a copy that I will be mine. I don't mind breaking the spine, so we can show you a lot more of that stuff, and I'll actually have something to say. But it's and I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Green Irene will tell you where you can get it in the bookshelf here in a second. But if you are on a journey of cannabis and you are trying to figure out what works for you, this is an ideal tool. I would, when I gave classes, it was the first thing I would tell people that they should have. Get yourself a book and write down everything in it and how it made you feel, how it was infused, this, that, and everything else. And I think what Irene has done is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, Cindy. Well, actually, this is a takeoff from one of the units inside of the Fight Fibro series program, which is, it's the Fight Fibromyalgia Green and Clean program that I've been offering for a couple of years. There's a couple different programs, but the 12-week program includes a medical cannabis journal. So there's a lot more information that's recorded, and most patients are finding inside of 90 days the exact strains for whatever pains, as well as their triggers and their responses to avoid those triggers or react to those triggers before it becomes a full-blown flare, which is really cool, because some of the testimonies I've been getting private lately have just been, it's been worth it.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Right. But, you know, we work at this stuff for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then we go, you know, oh, one day, is it worth it? And then this testimony comes in. Or this friend online says, you know what, I remember when, and thank you, because I'm looking back now. Those are the things that make you and I in the work that we do all worth it, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
So, yeah. So we're gifting this away to someone out there. In addition to that, I will be mailing it out to the lucky winner. And I will be sending in the envelope. I don't know what yours will look like. They're all a little bit different, but, and you can't have this really one. This one's Cindy's. But yeah, so I'm just going to show off a couple of them here. And I work on these usually when I'm meditating or I have to unwind at the end of the night. It's like, do something creative, let those thoughts flow away, and then the day is done and I'm not carrying anything to bed with me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I love doing crafts and arts for that. So this is a very functional bookmark, and they're all a little bit different. These ones are resins, but you notice there's also a little glow-in-the-dark button, and it's a handy-dandy little roach clip.
I love them.
Or you can do like I like to do, because if you look at any of my books, Jesus, you look at any of my books, I've got anything from turkey feathers to duck feathers stuck in them as bookmarks. Or I've got where my books are all marked up like this with all these wonderful little tags. This was the proof copy. And as you can see, this all had to be fixed. And this was all I want to add more or do something with, right? Like, what did we have here? Oh, here we have Ashley's show on Sundays here on the Pace Radio, which is but see how blurry it is? So I had to send it back. That was one of the things in the proof that had to be taken care of. So we give you a lot of information in these books. And there's a lot of your own personal information you can add in there. So the other thing I like to do is use them this way, put them up, and I'll put my little notes in there like, this is where I am, or I'll leave the book on the table and say something like, okay, so this has got my card in it, but I'll put like a note there and say, Ashley, read this, right?
Go to that page, yeah.
Yeah, and so she'll grab it when she comes home. She'll see it on the table or something, and she'll go, "Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I got that. Thanks." Right. So it's also cool that way. These little bookmarks, and yeah, everybody's liking them. So I think you saw yours. Did you see yours? I've got to be able
No, I don't think I've seen it yet.
Oh, would you like to?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I love it.
Now, yours doesn't glow in the dark.
That's okay.
But not all of them do. And they're all different. Like there's absolutely no two alike because
that's awesome though.
A, it's resin and paint, and B, it depends on the hour of the night what it ends up like. I never really know till the day after. So that being said, yeah, we're giving away these books. We have to have a catchphrase or a shit.
Trivia question.
Thank you. Yes. Trivia question. And yeah, and so how everybody wins, I'm going to put that poster back up for a minute so everybody can read it again. If you're just tuning in, there's your email address that you're going to need. That's where you want to send your entry to. And yeah, I'll leave that up there. And
yeah, so I mean, we do have a trivia question. Do we not?
I was actually I know I wrote it down somewhere. But I can't find it, Cindy.
I'm dying laughing over here. Oh my God. I think what we will do is after the show, we will post the question with this information in the Pace Radio network, and we will share it out, quite a bit from there. So you will have until next Monday at 7:10 p.m. Eastern, which is 8:10 for my friends here in Nova Scotia, or 4:10 for our friends out in BC. To get the answer in and be in on the giveaway.
Right. And then normally by the end of our show, at the end or somewhere's in the middle of our show, we're not really sure where it'll show up.
We'll go like, hey, I want to give something away, Irene, and she'll say sure, and then we'll have the wheel previously ready.
Okay. I'm scrambling back here, guys. I have no idea where it is.
We were so prepared last night. We had it all laid out. We'll do this and we'll do this. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And we'll do this and that's fantastic. And it didn't happen.
Well, I was kind of glancing. Here's our layout, our summary, right? And it's all there.
It was done. It was nicely typed out.
Right. And I mean, we had the show, and honest to God, I don't think we followed a flippant thing, including our timeline, Cindy.
I noticed that at 2:01. We have to talk for another 22 minutes, Irene.
Oh my good God. All right. Well, that was fun. So we are giving away the books. Like we said, you never know if it'll be at the end of the show or the beginning of the show or the middle of the show.
Yes, but we are, I'm going to have mine by next week. So I'll have a moment, like that. In all seriousness, I'll have a moment to peruse it. Maybe even, fill out a few strains of my own. And Irene and I will chat about the book a little bit more, and we will have both the writer's view of it and a reader's view of it. And I think that'll be really cool. And then we'll be able to give one away. And at the same time, we will remember to tell you about the following week's giveaway, because giveaways will be happening. We'll be announcing them and then giving them away the following week, because I used to do this in the evening where more people could watch. But in the afternoon, we'll get a lot of replays, and we want to make sure everybody can get in on the giveaway. So be paying attention for the giveaway to be posted. I will share it on my own page and a few groups I'm in. So it'll be around. Make sure you email me. This gift can be, we can send this internationally because there's no cannabis involved, but A lot of the gifts that go out do have cannabis involved, so you'll have to be from Canada for a lot of them, but we'll let you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about the only thing that can't cross the border. Like things like tools or containers, those sorts of things, they can cross the border. It's just cannabis itself can't.
Yeah, things that have like actually contained any cannabis or terps or whatever have to stay within Canada, which is the law for now.
Yeah, which fair enough, because we don't have the same. We don't look for the same identification as we would, or clarification. That's the other thing. In order to win, you have to be 19 years or older in Canada, because I'm not sending this to kids.
No, gosh, no. And most people we know. So if we don't know you, we might have to we might have to ask for proof. Yeah. Exactly.
On that same note, Cindy, we were talking before, if you're really enjoying the show and you want to be a part, we're going to be giving gifts away on every week. And you've got a whole week to enter. If you want to add some swag to be sponsored, to go out as a gift one week, and you want us to talk about, send us some stuff, contact either Cindy or myself.
I love to promo shit.
Huh?
I love to promo shit.
Yeah, she does. She really does. She's good at it. She's really good at it. So, and the thing is you've got great products. I love the cannabis crafters in our community. I love the I just do. I love the cannabis community because it is so creative. There's all kinds of glass stuff. There's papers. I mean, I was watching, I forgot who it was, but I was talking to somebody who makes those fancy. It wasn't Cody Van Gogh, even though he is amazing. It wasn't him I was talking to. But he was working with, hey, Ron. So I guess he was working with somebody, and he was building whatever it was out of rolling papers. And this rolling paper company came to him and said, hey, we can make you your own papers. So custom papers, roll your own custom papers. And the two of them started working together. So now he's got his own brand name, custom papers, and he's doing all these really crafty robotic joints that you can smoke. And he did like the tiara crown with the maple, with the cannabis leaf in the center, and it's this big beautiful tiara crown. I just amazing stuff. So there's some really cool innovative products. There's some awesome strains out there, and if you're a grow your own guy, you can share a certain amount across Canada, so keep that in mind. And if you want to donate some of that to be shipped out, definitely do it. We'd love to share your stuff. It's about keeping the community together. Do you know what I heard this year? Just prior, I was describing Karma Cup to someone, and someone listening said, do you know what it is about the cannabis community? It's collaborative, not competitive. And that's the way the cannabis community at its heart and soul is and should be. Now, unfortunately, things like humans get involved in that community, and there ends up being competition. And there's nothing wrong with healthy competition in business, but not in a community. It's not. No. It's about ensuring that your neighbor is fed, as long as your family's fed as well. It's about working together, and collaboration really is the heart and soul of the cannabis community. So if you've got some swag and you want to send it to us, we'd love to send it out for you. By that same token, we're looking for a little bit of help with the shipping and handling costs on a regular basis, because it can get kind of costly.
Out of pocket.
Right? Yeah, it's out of pocket. So if you want us to promo you in some way, I mean, give us a shout. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I rhymed that. I didn't even mean to.
Oh, shoot.
That was cool. All right. So, yeah. And that's, I don't know. I'm going to spark up again, guys.
Go for it. Cheers. Cheers. Al has sent us a message if you want to check it out.
Oh, okay.
I've got flyaway hair going on my face right now. It's driving me batshit crazy.
I was just saying I've got to go and get a trim. I think it's been a while since I've done anything like that, and it's time.
Oh, the glass is holding it back. Isn't even working. There we go.
but I had to text it. Oh, okay. So he's got it going. Yeah. Okay, I knew that. Thanks, Al. That's our wonderful producer in the background. And that poor bugger was down, not feeling well. He had
what a sin.
And there he is. There's a trooper for patients and patient advocacy, if I ever saw one, because he's down and out, and he's still helping to make sure that these shows get out there.
Yeah.
What comes up for you. Yeah, it is about patient advocacy and education. And you know what? We're not the know it. We don't know it all, not by any. We're just as opinionated as anybody else. And I think that's why I started that show off. These are our opinions.
Yep.
And your opinion might differ from mine, or mine from, or yours from, or
or I could have misinformation and I could learn new information and my opinion can change, because that always, you're always learning something new if you're open to it, which could change your opinion on something.
Right.
And, but yeah, they are just our opinions. I can mean anything that we're stating that we've learned, we've learned, and we could be wrong, but.
Well, I don't know if I actually say it in this book or not, because I don't give, oh, yeah, I do actually. I do say it in this book, right at the front, right at the start of the book, and I can't find my glasses. But right at the start of the book, I say the information contained in the text is series is written summary of my studies and research notes on the subject as I have come to understand them and can relate it. It's really up to you to go and do your own homework. It's your health and wellness. It's
your body is going to react differently than mine or Green Irene's reacts.
Sure. And even your neighbors down the road. I mean, how cannabis interacts with our systems is directly related to our endocannabinoid system, which is as unique to us as is our central nervous system or anything and everything else, right? So I love the brain. I love the human body. Like when I think of it as a flesh machine, I think, wow, it is so cool. Like from a scientific point of view, how all the parts independently work. And then we start looking at the systems behind it, how they engage and get all the messages going from top to bottom and in between, and how things go out, and then the nutrients that have to go in there. I mean, when I look at it, I get all free. I'm a nerd. I know, but I love it. I do. I can't help myself. I do. And then when I started researching the endocannabinoid system as a patient who had just given up 93 pills a day, like I mean, that was my consumption for 7 fucking years, and all that I was taking was infused cannabis tea, infused cannabis wraps, like around my muscles and bodies, infused cannabis potatoes, all that sort of stuff, right? It got to the point where everything about my recovery was cannabis infused, that I thought I had stumbled onto like the discovery of the century. I really did. Because keep in mind, up until then, I was very narrow-minded and had a very skewed perspective. So I raced into my doctors as soon as I could and said, look at me. I've been off the pharmaceuticals. I'm not dead. All I use is cannabis. You guys got to try this. It's a miracle drug. And metaphorically speaking, he slapped me on the wrist and said, smarten up and start taking your pills. To which I later did the whole, hey, asshole, you lost your chance to kill me. You're fired.
Yeah. I had, years ago, the doctor I had was one of the first in Nova Scotia to actually write the prescriptions. And he wrote them pretty freely and openly until he got threatened by the RCMP.
Right.
And now he won't even talk about it.
Oh, man, how fucked up is that? It's suffocation of free speech. Look at Rick Simpson. Look at Rick.
Oh, he had to run away out of the country to avoid being persecuted.
Because if they couldn't nail him one way, they'd nail him another way just to make life as difficult as possible. It's unfortunate, and I'd love to say here's hoping the human species will evolve to a I don't know, a more Vulcan-like understanding. I don't know. But I don't see us getting there today or tomorrow.
No, it's still going to take a while. We may have legalization, but we haven't. The stigma is not gone yet.
You know what?
Not even close.
No, the archaic attitude still exists in a very huge way.
Yep.
And yeah. So actually, you know what? We're going to make it to an hour and a half today, our 90 minutes, which is really kind of cool. Helping to remove that stigma means getting educated, getting informed, there is nothing wrong with an opinion. Have an informed opinion so that you can stand in righteousness with honor. I mean, standing righteously on a subject that is nothing more than a regurgitated opinion that you heard from Joe Blow down the hall or your ancestors for the last 20 years is not an opinion. It's not an educated opinion. It's just regurgitated, and so get informed. Blah 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 blah. There goes Irene lecturing and educating again. Cindy, shut me up.
No, you're doing good. Paul has entered, and it was hi Kimberly. We missed saying hi to you. Paul has entered. He said hello, and it amazes him how much this plant helps, and the stigma keeps up the spark, I find.
Yeah, you know what? The social stigmatism does really still exist. I actually had an experience, which I'm not used to having these experiences anymore, because I'm used to everybody around my circles or the little environments I navigate through. Everybody knows that I'm Green Irene. So yeah, I smell like weed. Like, I've entered the room, and it's not because I have this amazing presence. It's because you smell me coming in, probably, right? Like, okay, so I'm cool with it. But the odd time I run into total strangers who really have this whole stand back sort of attitude. And recently I was at the dog park and the being social and everything like that. And then I heard from behind me, yeah, but she really must smoke a lot of weed. To which, okay, because I don't give a fuck at this point. I am such a preacher. I turned around and I said, yeah, I know. And thank God, because otherwise I couldn't be here at the park. Did you know that 10 years ago, I sounded just like you? I mean, I had a couple buddies. I used to call them all shit, man. Here come the stoners. They smell like skunks, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm proud of it today. And I went into this preaching capacity. I'm telling you, if I could have gotten up onto that picnic table, gotten a microphone in my hand, I'd have been preaching from the pulpit, my dear sister. But, that stigmatism is still, unfortunately, prevalent enough to shut most of us down. Without exactly, Paul, it helps us become the teachers and students. I mean, learning, I had a patient come to me recently. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of cherry punch, homegrown. And oh natural. She's all Mother Nature. I do not add. She gets what she gets, and I know Mama Earth will take care of her, and she does. I got an amazing harvest this year. I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
So yeah, being able to educate, and for me, I think that's where I found all my power, was being able to say confidently, you know what? No, not only did I know this instinctively, but I've backed it up by research, and then I've attacked it myself. So there is no way you can come at me with an attack that I haven't at some point considered. Now, I mean, everybody will find it something to come back, because I don't get it all, right? But it's so cool when people when I get new information and go, which is why hopefully next week I shut up and you do a lot of talking about DMT, because DMT and Iboga, I really want to know more. You've got just incredible positive experience with.
Oh, it's been wonderful. I did an interview before our show, talking about it. It was absolutely fantastic. It was great to have the pulpit for a moment and speak my story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't wait for you to start sharing all of this experience. On that note, I think we're pretty close to.
Yeah. We've got 3 more minutes before we have to go away.
Okay, maybe we should show off that for the contest again. We're going to start posting after the show. We're going to announce what the catchphrase or the trivia question is. I don't know where the hell it is on my desk right now. I do apologize.
Yeah, but just remember who we work for.
Oh, right. Yes. Who do we work for? You go ahead, ask that question. I remember that. And that's where, you know what, guys, we should start posting our stuff there on the Pace Radio Network. And we're the Token Talk girls. What can we talk? Our show is an hour.
Oops.
Are we going to have enough content, says Irene the night before?
You were worried.
Ay. Okay, so let's put that sticker up with the address again. There it is, guys. That's the information. Check out the Pace Radio Network. We will be posting this picture along with the details of what the catchphrase is or the trivia question to validate your entry. We want to make sure that you're not a robot or you haven't put us into some sort of, spam system or something. We want to know that you're you. And then next week, we will add you to our wheel of names, which looks like this. I don't have the share screen. That's okay. We're going to spin the wheel next week, and when we and we'll announce the winner then. So, Cindy, thank you.
Thank you.
I loved hanging out with you today. I really needed that.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I used to always end with telling everybody to head out there and be the stone that casts the ripple. Go do something nice for somebody today because you're going to make them smile. Give them a compliment, buy them a coffee, put a smile on their face. Because if everybody would do this, we'd change the world, right? And because they'll do it for somebody else, and they'll do it for somebody else, and it's just a fantastic thing to do. So go show your love and be the stone.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful ending. I typically end with be healthy, get happy, and stay strong. Keep lit. Ciao for now.
Bye.
And I got to hit the commercial because I wasn't ready. Okay, and generic closing.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here